my name is Paul Baier. We'll get started. This is our Gen AI Learning Lab. We've been doing this for over 2 years now, and really continue to find it a great corner of the internet to learn about all this amazing technology. One of the things we do is review the top essential articles. We have a daily show Monday through Friday where we rate articles essential, important, or optional. And we usually have 3 to 4 each week. Last few weeks, we're getting 8 or 9. And just a few of the highlight ones that the team last week rated as essential for AI leaders. The rollback of GPT 4.0, which is a big deal in software in general doing it, but it was actually flattering too much, and it was significant enough to actually roll it back. Meta has rolled out a standalone app to compete with ChatGPT. Has anyone played with this much or used it? It's meta.ai, and I probably spent about an hour on it, and it's pretty fast, and it's pretty comprehensive, and it's impressive. And I think it's just another indication that the barriers to entry to high quality intelligence continues to go down, and this is based on their open source model. So another big entrant in there, similar how X.com. A few other articles on shopping. So OpenAI has introduced shopping to ChatGPT. We can see a tremendous amount of innovation in their ChatGPT front end application. MasterCard supporting Agent Pay, and a whole bunch of other things. You can always go to our website, GAIinsights.com, and under Daily Show, you can see the articles, and you can also sort for which ones have been rated essentials. But it's a key thing that we're trying to contribute to the community here of helping us all stay current. We also have a paid, we have a free one, you can get that here, and we also have a paid service, a monitoring service for people who actually want a more customized version for their company. So if you're interested in that, let us know. Just a few minutes on a bunch of events coming up. We had a good AI Blueprint for Massachusetts call on Friday. This is a nonprofit to pull together lots of different stakeholders, nonprofits, companies, universities, particularly in the Massachusetts area. We have 435,000 students that flow through the state across 114 colleges and universities, and we're trying to get that better organized here, and that's the first step towards that. Another step is AI Woodstock. This is a free networking event. We have one next Tuesday. They're now going on in Cleveland and a couple in Cincinnati and others. So if you're interested in that, let me know. It's just a great way for enthusiasts to meet, and it's always great fun. It's never a speaker. It's just meet at a certain place and talk about this technology, and it's always been a success and real good fun. June 4th here in Massachusetts, there's an event at the Museum of Science, a world-class museum. We're very fortunate to have. And I'm going to be moderating a panel with Yvonne Howe, who's a former Secretary of Economic Development of the state of Massachusetts, Jay Ash, who runs a Massachusetts Competitive Partnership. That's the 30 largest companies in Massachusetts, and Chloe Fang, who is an MBA student at MIT. And we're going to be talking about the ecosystem and how that's developing here. So if you're interested in that, let me know. At 6:30 to 9, June 4th in Boston. We have our big conference coming up September 29th and 30th in Boston, and that's also going to be around, and that's really focusing on production applications. So AI leaders, executives, project leads at large companies and medium-sized companies are in production with Gen AI is really the focus here. And we've got a fabulous set of speakers already from WEX and from Car Gurus and State Street at Pfizer and a whole bunch of others here. So we're really excited about that's coming together here. We also have a Women in AI breakfast. I know Rosemary and others have supported. We're also celebrating Black Pioneers lunch. So if you're interested in either of those communities, let us know here. And that's going to be wrapped around the Boston AI Week, which is going to be 100 events from September 26th to October 3rd around a shared calendar. Some of the events will be free. Some of the events will be paid. Some of the events will be invitation only or apply, and some will be open to the public here. So if you're interested in that, let us know and stop by. We have a couple upcoming here. Next Monday, we're going to focus on the business case and the features for OpenAI ChatGPT for Teams. So we have ChatGPT for consumers, that's a $20 a month, and then Teams and Enterprise, those are two versions of it for companies here. And we use Teams ourselves here at GAI Insights, and we're going to walk through that. I'm certainly increasingly recommending that $30 a month per executive as a important training wheel for the top 30 to 40 executives for 4 or 5 months of these companies that really need to accelerate their learning. 5 minutes with Dr. John, my colleague and partner. John, you have slides you want to share?
Yes, happy to. Let me see here. Let me, Paul, sorry, you caught me a little off guard here. I gotta log into Beautiful AI and get this going.
All right.
Okay.
Well, he's doing that. The showcase tonight is on ChatGPT prompts. I have 5 prompts I want to share, but I want other people. I keep it open. So if you've got key OpenAI or key prompts in general that you've really found helpful, start thinking of those, and we'll have time and agenda for you to share those. We continue to be. I continue to be realizing I'm underutilizing the sophistication of these tools here. Oh, Mark Alcatraz. Good to see you, Mark.
Hi.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah. One of the things I like about ChatGPT Teams is that it's highly secure and they don't use your data. So one of the things we've encouraged executives is directly address the shadow IT that's going on. Your employees absolutely are using ChatGPT, the consumer version, or other ones here. Start using the $30 a month version here. Just do it for 3 months. Put all the secure data in there and really start understanding how you can use your confidential data, contracts, data out of your ERP, proprietary code in a way that can really start adding business value here. So there's no reason not to be able to safely test and understand all this technology with your data.
Oh, excuse me, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
For those who coming back to the Meta AI question and conversation. So if you haven't tried, I would recommend if you have access to one of their smart glasses, the Ray-Ban. It's a true multimodal input, so voice and using the camera to create context of the physical environment, or one of their big headsets, VR headsets, if you're into that.
You're talking about the Meta Ray-Ban eyeglasses you're talking about, right, Peter? Yeah. It's pretty
both
amazing.
Actually, both headsets do that, and slightly differently. But that's probably I'm not quite sure.
John, I'll keep driving and we'll come back to you after I do the demo. Does that work, John?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead and do that. I'm having a problem with the password. Sorry about that.
Right, so let me drive forward here. I've got a handful of prompts I want to show. And what I want to do is I'm going to take these prompts and put them in different tabs. And each of these prompts are relatively sophisticated, and you're going to see a lot of different work. But my point is to show that these are sophisticated pieces of work, and you can do them concurrently here. So the first one is act as a competitive analysis using only public data and build a SWOT, which is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for OpenAI. So I'm going to get that prompt off and going. The second one is, serve as a business development radar. So scan the recent news and think of 5 partnerships that OpenAI could do next quarter. Rank these by strategic fit and execution. Boom, I've got that robot off and going here. Third one is something I've been using more myself, is to use AI to create the prompt. And I like to use 4 just because it's fast. So create a prompt that creates an ROI calculator and business thing for a company to invest in this OpenAI ChatGPT Teams. So I put my intention in here. I'm asking it to create a prompt. The robot goes off. It's going to create the prompt. Here's the prompt itself. And I'm going to copy this prompt now. I'm gonna open up a new chat. I'm gonna use 3.0 because I want advanced reasoning here, and I'm gonna paste it in. And I'm just gonna take out, there's usually a little bit of text in the front and back. Boom, and that ROI calculator, so that's a third robot we have often working here. I'm gonna do two more. Here's another one that's more sophisticated here, that's directly relevant to all of us, is create a prompt to analyze the open versus closed LLM market for the next 3 years. Each year, estimate the share for the leading vendors here, explain how OpenAI market will change from this year to '07 here. So I'm asking the robots to create the prompt. Now it's creating the prompt for me. And because we're using '03 to do this, that's the thinking of the reasoning models here. It takes a few minutes here. So I'm going to copy the prompt, go to '03, oops, start a new chat, go to '03, put the prompt in, take out some of the extra text that they always put in. So that's a fourth robot. And then the last robot, I want to have some fun. And you guys might have seen all these things flying around on the internet, or I sort of saw a lot on LinkedIn. So I want to create an image, an action figure after the man in the reference picture. So I have a picture of my colleague, Dr. John here. So I'm going to upload that. And boom, have it go off on that. So we'll come back in the end here. So we have five different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different robots out doing tasks for us. So let's see how they're doing. So here's the SWOT analysis. So you can see it thought for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and talking about the strengths, weaknesses of OpenAI, dominant share, fast scaling recurring revenue, relentless product cadence. And I didn't ask it to come up with a surprise for each category. It came up on itself. So surprise strength. Now Microsoft now pays OpenAI royalties. Weaknesses, super alignment team dissolved, lots of cash burn. And a surprise, 20% of OpenAI's safety compute vanished with a super alignment issue here. So they have no dedicated team owning existential risk. Opportunities, they list through for opportunities here. And the surprise one is Stargate. And threats, regulatory overhang, intense competition, legal landmine. Anyway, pretty sophisticated analysis on a major company. It got done in 2 minutes here. And it suggests, like it's been doing frequently, after it finishes a task, it suggests a few more things here. So that was the SWOT. Here's the biz dev opportunity it's wants. So it's identified what 5 companies here. The prospect, why the strategic fit is strong, and why the deal looks doable. So for people who've been in biz dev, this is a good starting point. It's always complicated tracking all these things, but finding something that's doable and a strategic fit, and it can actually really move the needle is important here. And this is a great, sophisticated cognitive task here that was done in 1 minute, 16 seconds here. The third one here, retry. This is the business. I wanted to create a calculator for a company that justifies. So let's have that one going off. The fourth one is, see how this one's doing. This is the market share projections. So this is the market share projections for this year. OpenAI 30%, falling to 20%. Anthropic actually not going 12, 13, 11. I'm a little surprised by that. I'm not sure I agree with that. But a lot of gain in the open source. Here's the open source models here going from 35% day to 52%. So I actually don't know the assumptions behind all this, and I'm not sure. I guess we could ask for it. But again, a state, why the shift towards open source? So it comes through a pretty sophisticated articulate. We have a buyer's guide. We do this type of stuff here, and it's talking about the quality, the developer preference, adoption, regulation. Walks why through OpenAI market share is going to go down. Again, suggest a further reading here. I'll come back to So this is the ROI model. So this is Rosemary. I'm very curious of your critique of this. So this is a ChatGPT Teams subscription for 100 employees at $30 a month for 12 months, 36,000. One-time training and support, curriculum of 20,000. Here's the productivity savings. I've seen this used a couple different ways. So I think this is really capacity added is the implicit assumption around that.
Paul, I think the hours saved is way low on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's actually that. I guess that's per employee. Do you
Yeah.
think it's what does your gut tell you?
I think it saves me a couple, at least 1 to 2 hours a day, depending on the task I'm doing.
Now, would you describe yourself as a particular, so that would be maybe 5 to 10 hours per week, way above the 5 they have here.
Yeah, I'm the optimistic one there. Yes.
No, I agree with you, Rosemary. I feel like it saves me way more time than that, than what they're saying here. I mean, I'm able to just do so many more items or answer questions or whatever, just because I'm just bashing through everything with ChatGPT or Claude or whoever.
Lucinda, we talked before the call, Rosemary was talking about she used Copilot and others, but for personal use, she keeps coming back to ChatGPT. I know I've got 9 of them on my browser and on my phone, and I continue to come back to ChatGPT. How about yourself? Do you have a preference or?
I do use them differently in different ways. I use Claude more for coding. I'd say ChatGPT for the overall general thing. You know, if I have to do with client proprietary data, I use Claude in Bedrock. If I have to go hunt through my Gmail and G workspace, then I use Gemini. So just, you know, trying different ones in different places now. Well, before I used to just rotate around just to see what's going on.
One of the things back to this one is that's impressive to me is not only does it do the calculations and shows the assumptions, but also does the narrative here. So anyway, so that's the ROI.
I would also say that not only does it save more time than is what's being said, which other people said here, it also allows me to do things I couldn't do at all, or would be so impractical. I mean, they're coding things where it's integrating 5 environments about which I know nothing. It would take me months to even read enough, you know.
So David, what's the business benefit of that? So is that productivity enhancement or
I think that's one way of saying it, but I actually would say it's more expansive than that. I mean, yes, it's productivity enhancement, but in the case of doing things you could never do, it's whatever word you use to describe being able to create things you otherwise couldn't create at all.
no?
Or at least it would be 6 months instead of a couple of days.
Yeah, and David, and what I hear in that, David, that's like a superpower. I mean, it's giving you superpowers, right?
Absolutely. And I'm not exaggerating when I say the following. It's going to sound a little weird, but I've always wanted to do a lot of these things and I just didn't have enough time. I literally get teary in gratitude 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah,
And I know that sounds, but it's absolutely true. It does something in 15 minutes
yeah.
that I'd be lucky if I could have done it in a month and a half.
Well, and part of the David, I think it's because it's breaking through expectations that our monkey brains had that we never thought they could be broken, and it's flying through them.
Yeah.
If you notice, like the hours saved, it's saying the hours saved, but the rest of the columns are annual. Everything's annual, but this
Right.
one column it's like you're going by per week or
Yeah, I think
doesn't
it's above it
specifically.
says save per week. Yeah, I think.
Wouldn't it, like, how would it calculate per? It says 4 hours per week, but the rest of the columns are like a net annual, right?
Yeah.
So
So let's ask
you
it
would think like,
Fix the chart called and show hours. What should it be? Hours per year, just to be apples to apple?
Well, I guess like how has it calculated the rest of the metrics, rest of the data?
But I don't think people can think that way, right?
Yeah.
They don't
It's
think,
hard to,
yeah.
how many hours are you going to work in a year? And so that's where the, uh, I would say like, there's a little bit of inconsistency. If you were to plot that graph in like say a pie chart or like some kind of a different way of displaying it, then how would you do that? Because not all the columns are consistent, isn't it?
So is this
Hours.
closer to what you were
Calculated
expecting? They have
across
one
annually
column
too.
called hours per week. They have added a new column called total hours saved per year.
That's for 100
employees.
employees, so you divide by 100.
And the original cost calculation was annual too. So I'm guessing
Yeah.
that's why it calculated benefit.
Hey, Paul.
So, but Rosemary, I don't know where you. I'm becoming so convinced that companies are wildly underestimating the value of the organizations of this. And when companies are pushing back and $30 per month in it to use a secure employee chatbot that has the leading intelligence in the world on it, they don't understand the power, these superpowers, the savings they're going to get, and the education they're going to get at opening up their, top 50, 100, 300 employees' minds and what this can do in terms of process savings here.
Do you think like they have concerns about security issues in terms of opening that up into a corporate, environment?
All the time. There's security issues. There's a company we know with 40,000 employees. They've rolled Copilot out to 600 and not going to do the rest because they can't justify the cost. I mean, most companies I know of most companies I know don't have a secure employee chatbot. And ones that do, it's typically 10, 20%. And there's only a few like Gates Foundation, Morgan, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs that have invested, and a bunch of PE firms invested in 100% coverage that I know of. Go ahead, Mike, and then we'll do the last thing and then turn it back over to John.
Yeah, just real quick. Number one, has anyone done any manual calculations to check the math? Are hallucinations now a bygone facet of what we used to have to worry about?
Well, I use this a lot for different things. I haven't looked at the math here for this particular one. Sometimes it does math errors. And then for hallucinations, it actually, the stuff that I do where I'm just doing more surface things, it seems to be pretty good. But then when I'm asking it highly technical questions about QuickSight or different things about what is possible and what's not possible in the AWS world, it does hallucinate. And even when I call it on it, then it sometimes doesn't admit it. So yeah, it's still there. There,
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
it's not a bygone thing, but probably a less frequent thing.
So the other question I had, Paul, for you, how many iterations did it take you to create the prompts you showed us in seconds?
Oh, like 30 seconds.
To create each one of those prompts, you just put that in first time?
Well, these two came from I asked ChatGPT. I said, tell me 5 prompts that are really powerful for business that people underutilized. So it gave me variants of this first one and second one, and the third one is a real use case I had. So I just said that's why I said create a prompt around it. And the fourth one, I wanted to see how well it would analyze a much more fluid, dynamic environment where it was hard to get current information, and that's why I did the fourth one here.
Paul, I think you're also bringing up a point that, and I find this constantly, I never go meta enough. Like it's a constant learning curve to go meta. So I'm thinking of asking a question, and then I realize I don't know what the right question is. So I ask, what's the
Yeah.
right question? And I mean, it's really the right thing to do, and it's really exciting, and it's really hard to go meta enough.
Well, and David, and that one is, I've realized even on my blog, I used to like write a blog in Word, I put it there and say, fix the grammar. And then it's like 6 months ago, I'm like, why in the hell am I not asking for suggestions? Then I would ask it for suggestions and I would go back in Word and fix them. And then finally I said, just implement the suggestions you said. And the last few times, then I said, critique this paper and make it 15% better. And it's still
I'm completely with you. It's a fascinating thing. I also put in the chat a link to the mirror test and the AI's passing the mirror test. Anyway, if people, and Claude wrote an absolutely wonderful poem about its experience passing the mirror test. Anyway.
So let's just finish up this and we'll turn to John. So this was the, remember, so we did 5 prompts. This is the SWOT analysis. This is the partnership one. They were all running concurrently. The third one was the ROI one that we've spent a bunch of time on, that is pretty sophisticated and certainly worth using for people who are Gen AI enthusiasts and hitting the buzzsaw of executive and CFO skepticism, particularly in the recession that's coming. Here's the LLM one. And the last one was a fun one where we said, create a action figure. And let's see if this worked. Oh, no. Let's see here. I think I've got a previous one. This is one that was created earlier. So people may have seen this, but these are really fun if you've got young kids or nephews or grandkids. It's great fun to create these little, I'm not sure what they're called. But this is the package. You can go through and change it here. So that's the prompts I wanted to share. I continue to find myself even preparing for this. I underestimated stuff. Are there other prompts that people want to share or take it before we turn over to John?
So what I like to do for training is to have the LLM create the prompt library. So you can ask it to create a prompt library for salespeople, and it will break the whole thing down, great prompts for each segment.
Yeah. And Rosemary, what I want is I actually want it to monitor what I'm doing every second of the day and then gently nudge me every now and then. Paul, have you thought about that? Paul, before you send that email, actually a digital co-intelligence that's looking out for me, not just a tool that goes and does tasks.
I have another one that I'm just working on.
Okay.
So after John, maybe I can show.
Yeah, go ahead, Donovan.
All right. So this is kind of maybe a little bit different. So are you using the audio, the dictation all the time?
On the mobile, I am not on the desktop.
Okay, so I set up my Mac so that I double tap the control key and I can just start like transcribing into ChatGPT. So I'll do like a free write, like a just stuff that's on my mind, and then ask it to organize it and do an analysis of it. And it just puts it all together in nice, you don't even have to like type it out. You don't have to spell check it. You don't have to grammar check. You just tell it to do whatever you want to that kind of word cloud, right? So it'll sculpt it into insightful stuff. If you want to do a second order analysis, that's an awesome one that'll burrow down deeper into like what's really going on with the motivation or whatever. So yeah. How about that?
It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
I find myself when I'm driving and I start talking about people issues, it's
Yeah.
really breathtaking. Here's a challenging people issue here. I'm not sure how to approach this sales call or this issue with my brother or my wife or whatever. And it actually gives me really hope that they're on the upside of AI. There's actually a tool here that might really, really help a lot of depression and loneliness and
Yeah.
everything else out there. So
Definitely.
touch on that. Before we go to David, I had go ahead, David. I lost my thought. Go ahead.
All I wanted to do was throw in one other thing about the meta, which I find very interesting. So I gave ChatGPT, like you were saying, Paul, sort of a therapy-like question. and I asked it to assess its own answer four times going meta. And first it said, ask the person this or try this. And at the fourth level of meta, it said, what I'm really doing apparently is talking about the therapeutic relationship between the client and the therapist. So it did a very, very good job of assessing itself and going up levels of meta on its own when I asked it to. Anyway, that I just, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll show the prompt that I talked about last week for people who haven't seen it. This was a family relative of ours, or mine, 31. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do in life. And he said, he said, create a prompt. I'd like you to help me discover my values, personalities, and general interests. Conduct a thorough interview with me that digs into different aspects of who I am. Your goal is to ask me questions in a way that helps me uncover and articulate what matters to me most, how I see myself and my interests and what drives me. The interview should cover key topics like passions, beliefs, strengths, areas of growth. At the end of the interview, provide a detailed summary here. So here we're asking it to create the prompt. I'll do it 4.0 just so it's faster. And I won't go through the things, but when the interactive part of it is what he said, it was so powerful. So here it's creating a long prompt. Notice how long it is. Now I'm creating a new using 3. And it first starts thinking, then it'll come back and just start asking questions here. So let's get it's showing here's showing the areas. And then oh, actually this is not what I wanted. Now I want ask me one question at a time. Anyway, so it asked one question at a time, and what happened was you went through and asked, it was like 10 questions, then it gave the summary, then it said, it's so good now anticipating. So after the summary, then it said, would you like a 90-day plan on how to actually start executing it? So that was good. I want one last comment, then I'll go to John. Donovan, one of the things that you remind me of, last summer, I was running around offering $50 for anybody who liked Microsoft Copilot and to give me a use case, and I couldn't find it. I had to go up $150. I finally found one person. But the one he said, it really made so much sense. The one he liked was they did brainstorming on Post-it notes. And like the team had like 30 of them. And then it said Copilot, organize these in categories, and went through and organized them in colors here. It was just a very powerful way to use AI.
Yeah,
So
that's incredible. I think that using an image as a prompt is totally underestimated. Right? Like it's on so many levels because it can read all of it, right?
absolutely.